Where the fuck is my cocaine, you fucking stupid
Dustin
nigga?
Poirier is a black belt. But he is. He is a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, bro.
Please, brother.
What do you mean, please?
So what he did when he catch his arm, he go to the do. What is this, brother?
Granby roll.
Black belt? Who give him, brother? We have to check that moment. And we have to cancel, brother, many black belt because
Why?
they make the jiu-jitsu, look bad. Because a lot of guys have black belt, but I don't know, brother.
All right.
All right.
UFC
All right, cool.
305.
All right, we are recording. UFC 305 recap. Craig Jones Invitational recap. Fuck, man. Can we talk about Li Jingliang? He lost. Got KO'd.
Hey, man. We were talking trash. Well, honestly, Hitman, you were probably talking the most trash because you're like, who is this guy? And you're not wrong. Well, honestly, Hitman, you were probably talking the most trash because you're like, who is this guy? And you're not wrong. The only thing I said in favor of Carlos Prates or whatever is he knocked out like 6 or 7 opponents in a row. Is like, yeah, I mean, they might be cans, but that many knockouts in a row, dude's on to something. And then he goes on to knock out the Leech, never before knocked out.
Honestly, when I saw he fought in one of those kickboxing tournaments or whatever, what's his one of those kickboxing organizations? What was it? Was it
Oh, well, we were talking shit on that because it wasn't like K1 or anything.
No. He actually did fight in a big organization. You're probably
Oh,
confusing
did
that with our talk about some other guy.
Oh, yeah.
We did find. I think it was it K1, not K1, but it was the other one. It's escaping me right now. The one Pereira comes from. I think it was when we looked at his thing, but whatever. So in my mind, I knew that there was something to him, but of course, for joke's sake, I gotta continue the riff. But
This whole podcast is just jokes.
First and foremost.
yeah, because where Li Jinliang stands, but bro, we were talking about the front door, bro. He was he was the ticket guy, and bro, they left that bro. And we were talking about him getting knocked out and being just outside on the pavement. I think it might be it for him, bro.
Yeah, man, he took a 2-year gap. I mean, he had multiple canceled fights, in fairness, but yeah, he lost that wacky split decision to our boy D-Rod 2 years ago.
Jesus.
And then comes back and got fucking massacred by Carlos Prates, which is actually
bro just went down in his career. He just went down.
Oh, he got taken out with the Trash Brother.
Yeah, like typically, like you'll see a guy, he'll perform well and then dip a little bit below that level, and then just stay there as like kind of a gatekeeper, kind of at that level, win fights, lose fights, win fight, lose fights. But Jinglang kind of, you lost to 2 guys that are one guy that was going out. Or what's his face? The guy he split decision with.
D-Rod got his name
D-Rod.
tattooed on himself.
Yeah. On his way. Dude is kind of on his way out. And then you fought the guy that's coming. His first fight in the UFC is you. And then you get KO'd second round. So that means like you're at the bottom. Like you just started in the UFC. Not like you just started, but like let's say you came from Bellator and then you came into the UFC. you're like back at square one almost. Not prelim level, but maybe now you're prelim level. You might be prelim.
He's gonna be on the prelims next time, bro.
Yeah. Damn. And I love the leech too, bro. How old is he?
You know, he's 36, bro.
30. Yeah, it's over, bro. Dang.
R.I.P. to the leech.
Dang.
Dude, I had like heard Fight Nerds before, but I didn't look into it. But Carlos Prates is in that crew, and then also the guy who just fought this weekend, Cal Baralho. They're both in this like crew, call themselves Fight Nerds. But
Cow?
yeah, CAIO. I might be butchering that. I think it's Cal.
We are the defending champions of butchering people's names.
Bro. He said,
Oh.
bro, his name was Cow, Ohio. I said, bro, what the fuck is wrong?
Yo, chill. I did say Cal. I didn't say Ohio. I said Baralho.
Dog, have some respect for the guy, bro. Jesus Christ.
All right.
Fucking
We'll invite
Cannoneer, bro.
Dude, he beat the shit out of Cannoneer.
I didn't even watch the fight because I don't watch fight nights.
Me neither, but I did watch the highlights, and he beat the shit out of him.
Dog, Angela Hill. Bro, I don't know why we're talking about fight.
Dude,
nights,
and
Angela Hill
lost
almost
to a top
has
three
bro.
took us in the UFC and Tabitha Ricky, so I ain't gonna hate.
I ain't gonna hate, but if Angela loses 3 more fights, she'll have the same losses as wins.
That actually surprises me. I guess I shouldn't be surprised, but she's one of those fighters I probably have like. Well, no, I clearly have too positive of a perception of her. Like, I feel like she's one of those chicks who's always scrapping and always knocking at the door, but can't quite get there. But clearly, she's worse than I thought. If she's only 3 losses above 500.
No, so I think she had a time where she was decent. And then of course, once you fall off from there, and then you're also old. She's almost 40.
Yeah. Well, back to the actual UFC. Like our pal, the Leech, might just have to hang it up.
I
Well,
was gonna say, by
can't-
the way, keep in mind with these people, like Angela Hill is almost 40 years old, like gonna be 40 very soon, and has like a lot of fights, and has been fighting like forever. So it's kind of one of those things, like they already know they're on the way out a little bit. So any loss like this is just kind of like, it's more than way out. It's kind of like maybe you should just hang it up completely.
But that's the thing about hanging it up is what the fuck you gonna do after? I think that's the thing that stops people from
That is
hanging it up.
true. That is true. I get why people. I mean, there's a lot of reasons, and we could do a whole podcast probably on why it's difficult for people to retire, because this is a sport where, dudes, athletics in general, especially power sports, and more than anything, contact sports, you have to retire from your career young. It's an unusual path for your life to take. It's not like, imagine if you were like doing okay in your career, you started making money in like your early 30s a little bit, you're doing okay. And like 3-4 years later, you have to quit, or you have health problems. It's like, that sucks. So it's kind of a weird situation to be in. But that is why smart fighters, I think, are building alternative sources of revenue with the athletic career as their launch pad. And like every UFC fighter has like a YouTube channel now. You know what I mean? They're all trying to do something where they market and do something outside of their UFC paycheck, which is what you really should be doing.
Yeah, but that's gonna get to that might get. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's like
I'm not saying the
you
secret
need
is start a YouTube channel by any means. I'm not. I don't think a
yeah,
YouTube channel is
because
going to save any of them, especially after they retire. But what I mean to say is, smart people are trying to find angles and things that they can do outside of their UFC paycheck.
yeah, for sure. And I have experience with people going through that because the military is also the same way. You also like
That's a
retire
good point.
young.
Yeah,
Um, and sometimes you get forced out.
yeah. I didn't even think
Um,
about that one. That's so true. And
and
but
you kind of have
I
to
I
figure it
think you
out.
can look at certain examples of people that have done an interesting job with it. I think I mean, when it comes to social media, I think Firas Sahabi has done a pretty decent job at building a business and a side gig for himself. Um,
I think the best thing these guys can do is try to build gyms.
yeah, you definitely want to capitalize on like what you've already invested in. It's a lot harder to be like, hey, I was a high level UFC fighter and now I am like the car salesman you should trust. Like probably
Yeah, people
not.
like, yeah, fuck you,
You'll be
you
like,
fucking you fucking PTSD fucking victim, whatever. You're not fucking selling me a car, bro.
yeah, yeah. I'm not letting this PTSD victim. It's so fucking tell them they have PTSD.
Bro,
Oh my god. Yeah,
this shit
no,
is
no, you
shit is
don't really
crazy.
want mush brain guys telling you what motor vehicle machinery is safe and reliable for them to drive. But
Dude, that's like a meme of like NFL players, like fringe NFL guys, like made it to the NFL but like weren't good enough to like stay on rosters, like cut and
most
re-signed and
guys
like
are out after 2 years.
yeah, exactly. So they walked away. If people don't realize, like when you're like say a low draft pick or like an undrafted, but you like made the NFL, you like walk away with like maybe a couple $100,000. Like maybe you made like 500K or something like that in your like 2 years of bopping around different teams like practice squads and shit. So now you think, yeah, you're like 24, 25, like, okay, I made like 500K. That could sustain me for like a year or two. Now what? And then it's like, use like getting into car sales is like one of the things that it's like a bit of a meme, but it's kind of like the lowest hanging fruit, like, because they're not qualified to do anything else. And not that car sales pays like boatloads of money, but it's like, well, if I work my butt off, I can make six figures.
Yeah, if I mean, the thing is, selling cars, like if you're good at it, you can do well. If you're mid at it, you'll be mid in general. Um, but yeah, dude, athletes, sports and athletes is just like a fucking not really the path to go down.
Yeah, it's probably the same thing with being a music star. You see it sometimes, bro.
Yeah,
Well, bro, it's these kind of fucking young men careers, bro. It's like that where you see they got it, and then they don't have it, but they're still living like they got it, and then, bro, it's just ruins.
I was gonna say, one thing with me is because I've been passionate about these specific things my whole life, pretty much. And but one thing that everyone always asks is like, did you want to go pro or anything like that? I was like, actually deep down, like obviously I had thoughts of things like that, but deep down, I didn't want to actually go pro because I frankly didn't even not even like I could be massively successful as a pro, but I just mean like I didn't quite even want that dream that much because when you're actually like, at least with fighters, it's a little bit different than maybe with football players and hockey players and whatnot. But at least with fighters, I saw what their lives were really like and what they themselves are really like. And when you're kind of like up close and personal with a lot of these guys, especially guys that are in the UFC, um, it takes a little bit of the glitz and glam out of it. And you're like, you know what, man, I kind of don't feel like doing that at all. And that kind of ruins the whole passion of this for me in the first place. Um, I'd rather just actually do what I'm doing now, which is like, I just like going to the gym, training and shit. And I've obviously tried to find a lifestyle that complements what I like about it and makes me money comfortably, rather than be like, oh, I'm gonna literally get punched in the head for a living. Um, it's I
And
get the
it's
dream, but it's like it's really not as fun as some people make it out to be.
yeah, bro, and having to train all day. People don't think about that part of it. Like
Yeah,
they
you
see the
really do.
fights,
Yeah,
they
your
see the
training
excitement.
is your job.
Yeah, like they see the excitement, they see the crowd yelling, yeah, and then the thrill when you win. Like, oh my god, the highest high. What, bruh? That work, bro.
The lows are, people always say the highest of highs, the lowest of lows, and they think of the lowest of lows as when you lose. And it's like, dude, it's more than just losing the fight.
Oh yeah,
It's that you've already been miserable the whole time.
yeah,
It's like you've been miserable every day training. You are not excited to train, really, to be honest. Especially with guys that train really, really hard. They're not happy, like, to be
yeah.
honest.
Especially like some people, training is not just. Some people think training is just Alex Pereira and you're just going out sparring, and then that's it. It's like, bruh, no, bruh. You gotta get on that bike, bruh. And
Yeah,
you're gonna go.
they're doing stuff even alone at home, like all this shit, bro. And then and you're always battling through injuries that you don't let anyone know about.
Yeah,
Um you're fucking tired, and you also have to work around all these times that aren't necessarily when you feel like doing something. So you got to meet all this set schedule. You could fucking slip on an ice cube after all that work and lose half your
Bro,
paycheck.
what did Tony Ferguson trip on?
A fucking cable wire
Yeah.
from a microphone.
Yes, there's a mic cable and
bruh,
blew out his knee.
bruh.
It
That's just some
that
Tony
is
Ferguson shit.
that is some Tony Ferguson shit, but that also was the shit where I started believing in the MMA gods, and I was like, they won't let this fight happen
Yeah, what was it? Booked and canceled
4 or 5
5 times, I think.
times. Yeah. And it's
Dude,
insane that it didn't
one
happen.
time.
It would have been so legendary back then, man.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's tarnished in hindsight because the way Tony's career progressed thereafter. But he was on
but
like
it
a
didn't have
12.
to. It only went that way because because the fight didn't happen.
Hey man. Well,
Yeah.
also, dude, keep in mind, like, oh my God, I can't remember all the reasons. That's the most infamous one because it's so ridiculous. But the last time it didn't happen was at the Apex, and Khabib couldn't leave Russia.
Exactly,
He couldn't
and
leave
then
Russia, and
Gaethje
then
took the
Gage,
fight.
yeah, Gaethje is the late fill-in, and then he fucking massacred Tony,
And
and
bro,
that's what
and
ended his career, dude.
yeah, and he didn't. He had his team was a grappling team. He had fucking Eddie Bravo
Yeah,
in his corner. It was his cornerman was Eddie Bravo.
Tony's a fucking goofball, but I actually, in all his insanity, I'm giving some credence to exactly what you're hitting on there, where he was like, I practiced grappling that entire training camp. I didn't train to
Why the
fight.
so did like he also did this to himself. Why the fuck you had a grappling heavy fucking thing? Why would you Why would you take that fight?
Again, a
Against
John
a heavy
Jones
striker?
in that scenario says, "No, I'm not taking this
Or a
fight." Fuck that.
Connor fucking hurts his toe and he's like, nope.
Hey, like we're talking like part the broader conversation here is like MMA careers and like how to make it through the meat grinder and actually come out whole and like be able to fucking support your family when you have to retire at like fucking 36 or whatever. And decisions like that are exactly what inhibits it. You know, that mentality is what people fucking loved about peak Tony Ferguson, where he's just a fucking wild man and fight anyone and couldn't be killed in the octagon. And it was what made him so exciting and awesome in his prime. That was quite literally his undoing. Like, yeah, fuck it. I've only been training grappling for the last 3 months. Like, I'll fight anyone. And then
And bro,
Gaethje steps up and fucking just tees off on him for
in between rounds, he's getting beat the fuck up. And then Eddie Bravo, like, he's getting beat the fuck up. Eddie Bravo is telling him, hey, bro, do it, Imanari roll. And then he actually did it.
Gaethje fucking just shucked him off like a little
No, bro.
toddler crab and
Imagine being in
grabbed
Eddie
his
Bravo's
knee.
shoes, bro. Imagine being in Eddie Bravo's shoes. You don't know shit about striking. And then
Yeah.
and then you're like, well, tell the guy something, bro.
Imanari roll.
Imanari roll. Like, out
Oh my God.
of anything grappling, you could, out of all the grappling advice too, bro. You could give him,
I
hey,
know.
try to take Gaethje down this way. But he was already so beat up by that point.
I mean, it's like literally saying, like, yeah, throw the Hail Mary, bro. I don't know.
Yeah,
Fuck
Imanari
it.
roll. And then he fucking does it and nothing. Gaethje just dodges it.
Yeah. Again, he kicked him off like a dog was trying to hump his leg or something. Like, get the fuck out of here,
What the
bro.
fuck?
I heard Eddie Bravo too. There's only 7 people in this whole fucking arena right now.
Imanari roll, bro.
Oh man.
It's just he just went out only how Tony Ferguson could have went out.
So true.
At least, bro, last minute, bro. You fucking go to a local gym or whatever, get somebody to fucking. Bro, you just need somebody that can see, bro. Does this guy understand striking? Can he see, bro? It's a vision thing. Can he see what's happening? Articulate to me what's happening, and maybe tell me what he could, or maybe if he can tell me what's happening, maybe I can figure it out. Because sometimes when you're in the first person, you can't really see everything that's happening by design, because the guy's trying to trick you to make certain things happen on you. So by design, sometimes you don't see what happens. And it's his job to see everything and tell you. So just find somebody that could do that. That would be yeah. And he just had no answers for like 3 rounds.
No, he got teed off on, bro.
Permanently ended his career.
I'll never forget. Like, I've never seen that happen before, where like someone's getting punched in the head so many times, so
Bro,
hard,
his
but like
brain.
wouldn't get knocked out. But do you remember, dude? He was like,
His brain.
He sounded like a horse, dude. He was like,
bro. It's not even, bro. His
like shaking
brain was stuttering. You could tell he wanted to move forward, but then he was stuck.
Yeah, dude. It was like a
his
computer
brain was
froze.
Yeah, his like I never seen somebody brain skip beats. His brain was skipping. It was insane, bro.
Yeah, I think this dovetails, perhaps, hybrid, check me on this, but part of getting knocked, yeah, you can get knocked out clean, of course, but like for the most part, when people are getting knocked out, especially in the UFC, it's actually because fatigue has set in to an extent. And someone like Tony Ferguson, he legitimately had like unlimited cardio. Like he was just one of those guys who would keep marching you down, keep coming at you at the exact same pace at minute 0 as he would at minute 25. So I feel like his own cardio, where like he didn't get the like you'll see guys like they get rocked, they slow down, and that's when they get pieced up and finished off. But like Tony with his like unlimited cardio and like just march forward at all costs, that I think in that fight, he collected so much more damage for those factors. Where like a less cardio, like a guy with a worse cardio base probably gets TKO'd in like round 2 from the strikes he was eating.
Bro, and his corner, like, it's not like he had an experienced corner to where like they would throw the towel.
Yeah, that, I mean, that's a good point too. That fight, his corner, that's like abuse, negligence of the corner to not fucking call that earlier, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
But it's not even their fault. They don't, bro. Eddie Bravo, bro, he doesn't fucking like people. I don't know. They're probably looking at each other at that corner like, well,
yeah, our boy's getting fucked up. I don't know, dude. Let her rip.
oh
But
man.
anyway, back to 305. Yeah, I think we said our piece on the leech.
So Tuivasa, Rosenstrike. What do you guys think?
We'll say I was fucking wrong, dude. I was like, oh yeah, this is gonna end in like 3 minutes. I actually went to decision, which is perhaps the most surprising part.
Yeah, I think Tai Tuivasa. I love Tai Tuivasa as a person. But bro, that man, he's just not. He's not a martial artist. I would say.
No, he's a brawler.
Yeah,
That part I still stand by on our pre-fight analysis. It's
he's
like,
just a bar fighter, bro.
yeah, these guys are just big
Actually,
fucking dudes.
Rosenstrike did display striking skill set here. Tai Tuivasa. But here's the thing about Ty, bro. He got pieced up by the Frenchman,
Gone.
Cyril Gane, Serial Gains, and then didn't learn anything from it. Gets pieced up by a lesser version of it with Rosenstrike here.
I was just gonna say, literally a worse version of Serial Gains.
Yeah.
Like not as fast, not as crisp, but they're both fundamentally kickboxing styles.
Yeah. You would think like, okay, you took that loss and you learned from it, and you won't let that happen to you again. But it seemed like he didn't learn from it. So I don't. His career, I don't think goes up further than this. I think he probably peaked long ago.
Yeah. Well, dude, he's on like a 4. Click on him. Click on his profile if you can there.
Yeah. Got submitted before then. Submitted again. KO'd by Pavlovich. Murdered by Cyril.
Yeah, bro, he hasn't won since
20
fucking 2.5 years.
Since February 2022. Yeah, he's been on a losing streak. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5-fight losing streak.
Yeah, bro. I mean, he has fought pretty much like the upper echelon of heavyweight, but yeah, our guy just ain't it.
Yeah.
Dude, I do want to call out, he clearly lost that fight, but did you see 1 out of 3 judges scored it 30-27 for Tuivasa?
No, I didn't pay attention to that, honestly.
So the other 2 one judge scored it 30-27 for Rosenstrike. The other judge scored it 29-28 Rosenstrike, and then the third judge scored it 30-27 for Tuivasa. And I think the other two judges' scorecards where basically one gave the first round to Tuivasa, the other one gave it to Rosenstrike, and that was the difference. That was fair because round one was the closest round. But what the fuck was that other like? Was the fix in or what? Like I don't know how he gave Tuivasa rounds 2 and 3, but
UFC judges remain a mystery to all of us. I think I don't think anybody knows what any of these guys do or how where did they find them.
yeah, are they
And
like? This is actually something I need to look into, I guess. But like, are the refs based on the location of the fight?
yeah, I think it's the athletic commission. I think I'm not sure though.
That's what I thought. So like, it does make me wonder. Like, this fight was in Australia. Like, who the fuck are the refs of mixed martial arts in Australia versus
Oh,
a standard Vegas? You know what I mean?
you would think the UFC would carry their own trusted judges when they do international stuff, when they're not bound by the US rules. But maybe the other countries also
Yeah,
do.
I don't know. Point is, or my broader point is to say, I swear the judging has gotten, and the scoring has gotten more inconsistent in recent years.
Do they? uh, Is there like a conflict of interest somewhere if the UFC provides their own judges?
I feel like that would be if they were, sup- if it was like UFC hired judges.
I'm not saying I disagree with you, but can I ask, like, what makes you think that score, like, what particularly triggers the thought that scoring's inconsistent now?
Yeah, so that's pure. To be clear, this isn't. I don't have like data on this. This is
Just a vibe
anec-
you're picking up.
anecdata. Yeah,
Yeah.
pure, just my intuition. But I really feel like if you go back like 5+ years ago, I would pretty much always be dead on with the scorecards. And if anything, I've
You might be seeing that through rose-colored glasses. I don't think that was the case. I don't
perhaps.
think.
Well, here's the other part of my observation. I don't. I straight up do not remember a fight like the Tuivasa Rosenstrike one where you straight up have one ref going 30-27 one way and the other ref going 30-27 in the opposite direction. Like that variance, I don't remember that ever happening. Period.
Um, he said, "Bro, there's been some bad scoring over the years, boy. Trust."
The only other
Oh,
one, at least to memory, that comes to mind was Cheeto and Sandhagen. Like it, that fight, if memory, it was a 5 round fight night, and on my scorecard, I was like, Cheeto maybe stole like round 2 or something like that. But you have to give the other 4 to Sandhagen, and one ref actually gave the decision 48-47 to Cheeto, which was outrageous. But even that was like a 2 round discrepancy, not all 3.
Well, I was gonna say, do you think, like, assuming you're onto something, do you think, and I could also be wrong about this, but I feel like we've had more international, like, around the globe fights these days than maybe 10 years ago. I felt like 10 years ago we just had so many more cards that were just in Vegas than we do
Yeah,
now.
that's actually why I was asking, do they like how do they commission their judges, and is it beholden to like the state, or even the, if it's ex-US, the countries like commission judges? Because if so, that might explain a lot of this variance.
no, no,
Yeah,
no, no,
I
no, no. Yes, that is correct. Don't quote me, but I do believe it is the athletic commission that supplies the judges.
yeah, I think it's the athletic commission. The UFC doesn't pick them. You have to the reason why the UFC can't pick them is because they can have a conflict of interest,
Yeah.
where it's not a true fair sport. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't really. You have to set what the way it works. I believe is you have to have rules that you set things up legally, and then there's an athletic commission for a state. They say, okay, so this is how your sport works, and then for the sake of keeping integrity within the sport, because there's, you know, you could if the UFC picked the judges, they could rig every fucking event like to an insane degree.
Or Dana
Um,
doesn't like you, you're fucked.
yeah. Dana doesn't like you as a judge. You're dumb. They pick the judges they want. They can choose the decisions that they want. Screws fighters over potentially. And then there's like gambling issues. Like, oh, we have our guy. We know we're gonna probably pick this dude, even though this dude's favored to win. You know, if it's a close decision, this guy will probably win because we have our own judges. Someone comes up with all this money, whatever.
Yeah. So yeah, but the issue with the judging, I think also, and why maybe boxing judging is a little bit better is because it's an older sport. There's a lot more people interested in it. There's a lot more people that do it. So you get, I
There's
guess,
also
better
way
judges.
less variables.
That also, right? There's just way more you have to learn when it comes to UFC, and the sport is young. It's still young. It's only what like 30 years now, almost 30 years.
I think just barely. I think it was early 90s. I want to say like 92, 93, maybe
Yeah.
94.
So, and then imagine you have to go through a bunch of different states, and they're just picking people that are like, oh, this guy's a wrestling coach. I guess he could fucking judge the fight. And then every wrestling move he sees, he fucking gives you a fucking 10-8 because he doesn't know fucking anything else. And this
Yeah,
taekwondo guy, you do a spinning back kick or whatever, and he's like, all right, this is a 10-8 round for sure.
funny. I'll
And
I'll
it's
do
just
a
like that.
a brief tangent on that on CJI. So like they adopted UFC formatted scoring as in 3 rounds, and then if there's no submission, then it's just there's a winner and a loser of the round, 10-9, or if you got dominated, you can get like a 10-8, and so on. And now that exact point you just made, Hitman, where like one of the judges was Justin Flores, who's like, I think he was like a silver medalist in judo, but that's like his, and he was an all-American wrestler. So he's like, that's his grappling forte is more of the, takedown pressure, whatever dominance. And I specifically noticed like the very first match, for example, first round, first match, Jason Nolf versus Ty Rutolo. Jason Nolf is a 3-time NCAA champion wrestler. Ty Rutolo is one of the best young guys in the jiu-jitsu scene. And Justin Flores was the only ref that gave the first round to Jason Nolf, but I'm like, well, that makes sense because Jason Nolf scored multiple takedowns, but Ty Rutola was doing the more like exciting jiu-jitsu stuff once it did get on the ground. So 2 judges gave it to Ty because he had more, submission threats or whatever. Justin Flores, who's the more wrestling background, gave the round to Jason Nolf. So, and that's just within a grappling context. So even within grappling constrained rules, it could still get a little murky. And then throw in all that plus striking into MMA. How do you? It does raise a fair point of like how do you grade one punch versus one takedown?
It's I think maybe they have to standardize a process somehow. Where like they figure out what are things worth and talk about the biases that people can have.
For sure, and
You can
dude,
only
even
fix it through
that's
training. So
yeah, and like I agree. Like standardizing would be the goal, but even that, it's like yeah, O'Malley said like yeah, you kind of don't want to have long hair in the octagon because that'll sometimes you're slipping a punch or rolling with a punch and your hair's flapping, and then like the judge is like, oh, he got clipped. So it's not even that's not an exact because it's in real time. Like you don't have the luxury of watching around, watching a replay. Like one thing I do know is these
And maybe
judges,
that should change.
yeah, as in like they have to watch it. Well, then you wouldn't.
Maybe you don't have to turn in your card at the end of the round.
That opens another can of worms though, where it's like, oh, like I'm gonna like someone could in theory cheat and change their scorecard or whatever based on like later rounds or something like that.
I would say uh, I would say during the 2 minutes where they sit down, you can go review different parts of the fight. Maybe so, I don't know, bro. Off the top of my head, I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's there's no. It's tough.
I
I
could
mean, it's
probably
tough
figure
to
it out if I
score.
made it my job to figure it out, but bro, I don't want to put this into my head right now.
Do one other thing I'll say that CJI did. So it adopted like UFC's format of scoring. One thing they did that I really liked that I'm not saying it would definitely make the UFC better, but I lean towards saying yes, and that's live scoring. As in, judges have to immediately hand over their scorecards at the end of a round, and it's the ink is dried, so to speak. So the scores are in. Like round one's over, the scores are in. And I think I would like that for UFC because it's like, hey, you're down. It's not, oh, I might be down the first 2 rounds and I probably should go for it, like just go for the knockout in round 3. It's like you straight up know, like, all right, I'm down 2 rounds to none. I have to go for it. Like I don't know. Again, I'm not saying it's definitively better, but I feel like it would force fighters
No,
to
that
be
would
more
be
aggressive.
that should be a given. That should be a given. That's not. We shouldn't even be having a discussion about it. It should be open scoring. Period. Like there's no sport where fucking you can't see the fucking score. This is not. This shouldn't even be a discussion. No debate. This shouldn't be had on this at all.
Well, isn't
This
boxing
is
the
not
same way?
even.
It's not. It's not.
It's also if it's the same. It's also retarded. Do you
Yeah.
watch
So,
soccer and you're like, oh well,
no, it's true. Well,
we
anyway,
scored, but
UFC
we don't know if
clearly,
they actually counted it. So we're just
dude. I
waiting
think
for the
even
end.
yeah, when I've watched Muay Thai, yeah, Muay Thai's is the same way over in Thailand. Like they just announce who won at the end. So I think, dude, I think that's all a derivative of just adopting the bad habits of boxing. That it's they submit the scorecards at the end of the round, but then they don't announce it till the end. But I'm trying to think like I'm trying to play devil's advocate, and I don't have a good
Like I
rationale.
said, bro, this is not even a discussion. There is no devil's advocate. There's nothing. What do you like? What is the counter argument? There is like, I don't even know how you come up with one.
Yeah, yeah, I don't have a good one, so I'm gonna tend to agree with you. Yeah, there's not a good argument. UFC do open scoring, you fucking schmucks.
Yeah, hybrid. You got
I have
something?
nothing major to contribute.
Shout out to that. We have a wait. Hold up. The Gamrot Hooker. I think we just watched a little bit of it. We can probably just cook through these and get to the Dricus fight. We got yeah. So Gamrot Hooker. What you guys think about that real quick?
I'll just say, bro, I think I probably called Hooker out the hardest in the last podcast. It's like I think I was saying, like, what happened to Dan Hooker? What happened to the Dan Hooker hype train? And some way, somehow, like 5 years after he initially cracked the top 5 in the UFC, like that was the peak Dan Hooker hype train, and then like he kind of lost to like everybody. It felt like and fell off. I think falls out of the rankings completely, and then he delivers. He fights number 5 ranked Gamrot, who's one of the most dangerous grapplers, or like really imposes his wrestling on you in the lightweight division. And Dan Hooker, did he get taken down? Yes, but basically anytime that he wasn't actively on the ground, he was just walking Gamrot down, and that's
And
what
he
won
was
him the
getting
fight.
up from those takedowns.
Yeah, I think maybe the first round it ended where Gamrot was still like on him a bit, but every other takedown he got up from.
Yeah, and that's crucial. And I was speaking last week, on the breakdown podcast about how he needs to incorporate more grappling into his game, and I think this fight proves that his grappling is at a very high level, and he should, bro, he should change gyms. Like I said, bro, the city kickboxing is not where he should be. I don't think they're not the ones that can further his career at this point. I think he should leave.
That said, almost no chance he does. I think he's been there like fucking 12 years or something. He
Yeah,
ain't
whatever.
losing.
But hey, if you actually want, if you actually want another title shot and win,
Yeah, I mean, it's like I was saying, like some of these guys who like go spend time with Habib and stuff over in Dagestan, like that's a bit of a popularized thing now. But I think some of these guys, it's hard, right? Like, oh, Eugene and City Kickboxing made me what I am today. How am I gonna like go train somewhere else? They feel like they're like being disloyal to the guys who like were there all along with them. But I think it shouldn't. It's kind of a weird thing. Like I don't know why it's so.
fighting is a single player sport, bro.
Amen.
Single player sport.
I'm just saying like what these guys like. I think how they feel about it and why they don't. But it was like I remember a lot of people like that I know personally. You know, at my gym and other gyms I know in the area, like we talk about say like Alistair over like, oh yeah, he's like a gym hopper, and it was like describing him in a derogatory way, like, oh, like you're kind of a piece of shit if you just like hop gym to gym, fight to fight. I was kind of like, is it though, man? Like if a gym wasn't working out for him, who's to tell him he shouldn't go find a gym that's a better fit? And someone like him, I think he actually prolonged his career by like skill building and going from like this absolute well,
Wait, who said
on
that about him?
it was just like people like my gym owner and like other people I know who are like own
So
or like
you're talking about non-legends talking about a legend. The conversation is over.
no, no, for sure. But
Conversation is over.
I think it is from like the gym owner perspective. Like they feel that way too. Like, oh, like you got to stay loyal to your coach and
Oh,
your
they didn't
team.
give them enough money. They wanted more money. They give him more money.
Yeah, man. Like anyway, I like in real like when I was having these conversations, I was like, I don't know, man. Like he can do whatever the fuck he wants. Like if he didn't feel like he was getting the right coaching out of a team, then go to another gym. Go to another gym just for a specific opponent. Especially when you're as seasoned of a veteran as an Overeem, it's like he doesn't need like the mental game coaching or how to approach a fight. It's like he's done that dozens of times. Like if you include his kickboxing career, probably over 100 times. Like dude knows like how to get himself ready and walk into the octagon, right? He needs specific skills built going into a fight when he was, late 30s and actually fought into his 40s, I think.
Bro, man, if I was a UFC fighter, bro, I'll be going to multiple coaches and asking them for game plans. Hey, I'm gonna fight this person. Form up a game plan for me, and then I'm
Yeah,
gonna
you
take
either
each of
need to
them and see
build
which one that I want to go with.
you either need to build your own super team or go seek out these super like specialist coaches on your own right.
Dude, you know why I think a lot of people don't do that to an extent? Because some have tried and have been very successful with doing so. It's because that costs a lot of money. And these people do not make a lot of money. It's a weird sport where when you make it to the NFL, you're just on a team and you just have this team that runs itself. You don't really have to do anything besides like I show up at practice, I do what the coaches tell me, I show up on game day, blah blah blah. Um Fighting is a weird sport. You're so autonomous. You're so autonomous compared to other athletes. You know what I mean? You're not just in the NFL. You're on an NFL team. You get drafted. That's not how MMA works. You get a UFC contract and the UFC says, "Hey, show up on this day." And literally, if you want to just do, you know, Tabata circuits in your basement for 4 months to get ready on like a on like a you know Flex Pro little machine you ordered on Amazon, you could do that. Literally no one's stopping you. Um, so when you're trying to form a team and get help from other coaches, it's more complex than just like I'll reach out and do it. Think about how much that would cost. Imagine if someone only fights twice a year, you get paid, I don't know, let's say 40 grand per fight. How much of that would another coach be asking? And what if you're successful? How much of your purse might that coach ask? Because a lot of your purse has to go towards paying your coaches and shit. You don't have to do that in the NFL. Not to mention making way more money. There's a lot of constraints in this sport.
Yeah, there's also the logistical constraints. Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know. I think the
That
way I
being
would
said, not to
try to
interrupt you, I
approach
was
it.
just going to say, by the way, what you're saying though, I do think is ideal.
Yes, no, no,
Just
no, no. I
in
no, no.
practice,
I
that's why people don't
understand.
do it. Yeah,
I understand everything you're saying,
yeah.
but which I think the best move is try to build relationships with as many people, so that it's not when you're coming to them, it's not necessarily they're looking for money out of you. uh,
Well,
maybe.
you make friends with Henry Cejudo,
Yeah,
get him
exactly.
to start yapping at you on Instagram.
Yeah, fucking make friends with Islam. Hey, this guy, whatever. Da, da, da. You know, like actual smart guys, and let them help you figure something out.
Yeah, I just laugh because of that Cejudo Aljamain saga.
Yeah. Um, we can go to Kai Kara, Steve Usyk. Well, this one was a quick fucking round one KO. We didn't see this one coming, actually.
No.
But how do you see a round one KO coming ever? Unless it's Pereira.
Well, dude, not in goddamn flyweight either.
Yeah,
You just
flyweight.
do not
Pereira was
see that at
crazy.
flyweight.
I
Yeah, I
think
don't
bro
know, man.
bro drank
Not
some
to
bad milk that morning, boy. That shit was bad.
not to be too MMA mathy, but I will for a moment here. Like, Usyk looked really fucking good in the title fight loss to Pantoja, and Pantoja has kind of beat the who's who. Like Pantoja beat Moreno twice, I think, former champ himself, and Moreno fucked up Kai Kara France. Again, I know that is I said that is straight up MMA math, but um, yeah, then Kai Kara France came and fucked up Steve Usyk. So who knows?
Well,
I think we go back to ignoring flyweight as the division.
yeah, I think
Fucking
we should move on right now. Dricus Du Plessis, Israel Adesanya.
hey, fuck the flyweights. Yep.
um,
God damn it.
Izzy got finished, boy. Finished. Izzy never gets finished besides Pereira.
Dricus is the finishing machine, bro.
Well, we did say there was a 40% chance Izzy gets taken down and gets his arm ripped out his shoulder.
Dude,
Or a choke.
I don't think the way the fight went was surprising to me at all.
Yeah, no. I wasn't surprised at all.
Yeah, none of that was. I literally, dude, I was laughing, bro. I manifested this. I was like, I was like, the thing is, the odds literally on that were so ridiculous for Dricus to win by submission, and I was like, that is not at all a plus 1,500.
Wait, we said
Like,
there was a 40% chance that could happen, and those guys
I,
thought it couldn't happen at all.
those guys, dude, did you see the odds?
No, I saw, but
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
just still baffled, right?
Yeah. That's why I was like, dude, I'm making a whole meme, but this is insane. Like, I was like, maybe I'm wrong. I was like, maybe I made a mistake. I don't know, but it seems pretty obvious to me. Dricus has a this is a very real chance Dricus chokes this guy out. And if Izzy's smart, I think he also knows there's a risk there. Shows up prepared for it. Still ended up happening, whatever. But like, um, that was like plus 1,500, dude. This sounds like an easy $2,000 if you want to toss out, enough money you pay for dinner and a date. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was that was a line that was way out of touch with reality.
yeah. So crazy.
Imagine, bro.
Yeah, that's. It's not even because I thought that was the most likely outcome. I just thought the odds were way out of touch on that.
Bro, we said 40% chance. That's almost half.
Yeah, dude, that's just a fair edge to Izzy. And I think giving Izzy a fair edge is also what we saw happen.
Izzy
Because
was piecing him up on the feet, bro.
he was doing what we thought was going to happen. And
bro.
Dricus also did what we thought was going to happen,
Make it
was just
dirty, yeah.
kind of literally tank it
Yeah,
and then just and fucking tank you out. And like that's dude,
bro.
everything that we said that would happen except the specific aspect in the technical realm where we were talking about there should be a lot of Izzy low kicks. And it sounds like the reason why there wasn't a lot of Izzy low kicks is I think he had a minor injury that prevented him from doing so.
Yeah, so we heard. But yeah, man.
If that's true, which I suspect it probably is.
Yeah, you don't want to talk about excuses, this or that, but we do fight analysis, and we have to.
We have to consider those things from
Yeah,
our end.
we're
I
not in
think
a
the fact
bar
that
talking.
Izzy didn't bring it up afterwards is, it's like he's not gonna make an excuse. But when they alluded to that afterwards, after Pereira's comments, I'm like, if Pereira said that to me, I'd concur.
Yeah, for sure. Bro, Izzy was throwing combinations on combinations.
Yeah, which he doesn't
Like,
always do.
yeah, Izzy's always like one, 2, step out, move, step out. Izzy was like, bro, I'm throwing 3, 4, and they were landing. I'm
Yeah,
like, bro.
stylistically, which was there's basically a complete absence of the low kick, which is, as Pereira pointed out afterwards, like that's one of his most potent weapons. And against a guy who's very, very, very kickable, right? Like Strickland, I think that was part of why he gave Izzy fits actually, is because Izzy kept trying to kick him and he couldn't kick him because Sean has incredible eyes and reactions. Like I think Sean checked all or almost all of his leg kicks, and then he would literally like check Izzy's leg kick and then check kick and then hook, check kick, 1 2, like, and that taking that weapon off the table made Izzy really uncomfortable. So I was going into this, I was like, dude, Dricus doesn't even bother reading your strikes, and his most effective guard is that like full shell. He literally touches his forearms and lifts his shoulders up real high, so that like kind of guards his like upper neck, lower ear area.
It's a
But
high guard, yeah.
it's a high guard. It's a high shell guard where you literally it's about as good of a shell defense to protect your head at the expense of you cannot see.
And your body's wide open. And Izzy did
And
touch his
Izzy,
body a couple
yeah.
times.
So like the one like I didn't call this out beforehand. I
Really good.
don't. But that was a beautiful wrinkle. That was a beautiful wrinkle. The like feint or even full on jab, and then when he pulls that full high guard up, boom, rip the body, and dude, he was fucking cashing in on that.
Oh yeah. Didn't he make a noise one time when he got hit?
Ugh. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
some fucking
yeah,
ogre Dricus noise.
yeah.
But
Nerd
yeah,
punch me.
yeah. But with that, it's like, dude, why? When I was watching this in real time, I was like, love this fucking body hook, but dude, finish it with a kick. Why? Like, you have
There
free
was
shots.
no question mark kicks, no head kicks, no.
Dude, funnily enough, Dricus was actually ripping the high kicks, which I didn't really expect, and I think he landed a few. He was surprisingly solid at landing those, especially with a 4-inch height differential. Um, but
I
yeah,
just
the
think you
absence
don't
of kicks
expect
from
it.
Izzy was a telling thing, and I think the most plausible answer, like I can't think of a strategic answer unless he was very nervous about the takedown, which is I think also plausible. But I suspect
Go ahead.
I suspect the primary motivating factor is less so that he would abandon all kicks because of that, and more so because he was dealing with something.
Yeah, no, I don't think he would have banned kicks because there's specific type of wrestlers that take you down off the kick. I don't think
Yeah,
Practice is one of those guys at
I
all.
look
I don't think
I
he is.
look at it as like against a guy like Dricus, I think he's easy to punch. So if I was game planning for Izzy for Dricus, I might say, hey, I think he's going to be easy to land punches on. Punches are inherently more stable than kicks and allow you to move while throwing them. So harder to get taken down. So a little bit safer for you to utilize because you don't have to get too fancy to beat this guy up. Um, but I do think if his legs or whatever was going on was fully healthy, I think the kicks would have still made, you know, a heavy appearance, even if he modified his approach slightly. The total absence of them is a big question mark. So I'm confident he was not feeling 100%. But that's to be fair. That's fights all the time. Guys have injuries they never ever bring up in fights. Sometimes you see a famous fight between some guy, and they talk about how they were like, they were like, my elbow was fucked, and they don't say it for 8 years or whatever.
Yeah, where you'll hear guys divulge their injuries after they pull off the win. Because, it's
Yeah,
badass to be like, oh yeah, my fucking knee was actually shredded, so hoo-wee.
yeah.
Like what was it? Ngannou versus Cyril Gane. He had
Yeah,
something
imagine if he
like,
lost that. People been like
yeah, dude.
excuses. You just fucking whatever. I'm like,
I know, yeah, it's a counterfactual because like it's always it's sour grapes to be like, oh yeah, I had these injuries, that's why I couldn't fight my fight. Everyone's always gonna be like, oh yeah, you poor baby you. But like when you like go out and like win a title fight and you're like, yeah, dude, I think in Gannier's case he had like a sprained knee and a torn
sorry, meniscus or whatever the hell.
something in two separate knees. So he had two bad knees. Is the point. And yeah, I think Izzy's the type of guy. He's like, yeah, I'm not gonna get up on the mic after I just lost. Be like, yeah, had a bum, foot or whatever. Didn't get to implement a key part of my game plan in the kicks. So
No, most guys don't bring it up because anyone that gets that level at the end of the day mentally is a tough guy. They're not a huge bitch. They don't want to say something stupid when they're emotional and sound like they're being a baby. So Smart guys know to not say too much and just act classy in the moment when your emotions are high. You're upset you lost. So I think a smart guy knows, look, just act classy. I can figure out what I want to say about this whole thing later when my emotions calm down. And I think Izzy's one of those people for the most part that can do that. And then on top of that, like, the reality is you're dealing with your own injury. You don't know what the other guy was dealing with. That other guy might be like, hey, you don't know this, but my back is fucked. You know what I mean? Like Leon Edwards didn't bring up his back thing. His coach brought it up like a couple days later.
Yeah, bro, not everyone can be Kurt Angle and have a broken neck and compete in the Olympics.
Yeah, and
One thing I'm gonna say about Izzy. Do you guys think this is the second time he's fought now where we're like, is this guy injured? Do you think his body's just giving out at this point?
it's a good question, but I'm not so sure about that because I don't think he's looked bad.
But he
So,
doesn't. He then doesn't look peak.
yeah, but also to be fair,
He's 35.
we're able to be fair, I think we're able to look at these fights and pick apart what caused some of the struggles. I'm sure he doesn't feel as fresh as when he was 25. You know what I mean? He's had
Yeah.
10 more years of the fucking biggest people in the world attacking him. But do I feel like the main thing is that maybe now that I think about it, he actually said after the Strickland fight he
Yeah,
wanted
he
to
wanted
take
to
a
take
year
to heal.
because he wants to heal some injuries.
Exactly. Maybe it
Yeah,
didn't
so
work.
he might have some things that have been bothering him.
I'm thinking it didn't work.
Yeah, it might have, man.
Yeah, this what that thought came to my mind as soon as he lost. I'm like, he said he was taking time off for injuries. He took the time off. I think when he came back to train, the problems didn't actually go away. Because
Yeah,
taking
that
time off
might be
does
the
not
case.
heal injuries you have to rehab.
Yeah, and we
Well,
don't
on
know.
your point of like, is he just old and like just too much aggregate damage? Uh, we've talked about the concept of like age and like athletic potency, and I think not to be to like totally oversimplify it, but I think what like the masses get confused on, it's like, oh, like you get like slower and weaker and you really fall off in your like 30s, and it's really not your maximum output probably stays very close to your peak output, as in, I'll use another example, like just watching LeBron at fucking 40 years old, all fucking gray bearded and grizzled and fucking receding ass hairline. Dude, when he still wants to do what he did at the peak of his career, like with the Miami Heat, like 12 years ago, like when he still wants to just fucking get to the rim, just slash through two defenders and yam, he can. He just can't do it for 36 minutes out of a game like he used to. He has to be a little more selective when he can do those maximum outputs, because it's actually uh like, and what may be going on with Adesanya is like he just can't push it as hard as often as he used to without that bad ankle or some bullshit flaring up.
Yeah.
That's what really starts to change in athletes. Where again, that like LeBron's still fucking sick, but he just can't sprint end to end for 42 minutes of a basketball game like he could when he was 28. Same thing with Izzy, and this is where like MMA is so grueling. Like you have to you only fight a couple times a year. When you're a champion, you probably fight twice a year. But with that, you have to log crazy amounts of hours, and the idea being that you were trying to peak on fight night. So that's peaking like your cardiovascular fitness, that's peaking your techniques, your timing, all of that coming together for one night. And I think as you age as a mixed martial artist, that becomes harder and harder to do.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, like you said, like that LeBron example. Like you'll see LeBron playing, but he can't do it the whole game like he used to. Like it is strategic moments. He'll pick like, okay, I'm going out now and none of you can stop me because I'm LeBron. But he can't sustain it. And he's still really good in those moments. But it's more strategically used now instead of the whole game. Yeah.
And that, not to like paint this as the whole narrative of like why is he lost to DDP, but
No. DDP's a horse. That's why he won. Period. The end. But
but
now we're analyzing.
not that Izzy, not that Izzy ever had like the horse trade as we call it, but theoretically, if this was a 31-year-old Izzy, does he weather that storm from Dricus with a little bit more composure and urgency, or like those hits maybe it didn't do as much damage a few years ago as it did at 35, and maybe he reacts a little more spryly. I don't know, but that's what aggregate damage. You take damage, and you don't. As you age, you don't always bounce back 100% to what you were before the damage was taken.
Then Izzy also has like what 100 kickboxing fights or something.
Yeah, he's been in a lot of striking matches in particular, where you tend to take a little more damage. And I was also gonna say, I mean, I agree with everything you guys are saying, but one thing to also note into the mix, because I really want to like emphasize this as we recap the thing. The reality also is like we keep shitting on Dricus, but also got to give him his roses a little bit. For whatever reason, the guy keeps coming out on top, and there is, when these things keep happening, it's a pattern. It's not just luck normally. There's something there. Even if he loses his next 10 fights, there's something there that we need to investigate and get into and how this is happening. Um, and I do think, like we've said, he has certain physical traits. I also think that his style, while being goofy, is not as ineffective as everyone assumes it is because it appears goofy. And I think he gives people more problems than they realize when they're in there. And it's one of those things where I'm not going to chalk up like Strickland's loss, Izzy's loss, the Robert Whitaker loss, all to like their flukes. There's something going on with Dricus where he's not easy to beat.
Let me try to explain what I see, and maybe you can, and then we can speak on it. What I see with Dricus is, um, he's a really, really strong guy, and I think people underestimate his strength. Even though they know he's strong, they still underestimate it because when he grabs you, it seems like it's different.
Yeah.
Um, he's also very, very hard to kill, and I think he knows he's hard to kill. He's one of those guys. Like he's not. He knows it, and he's going in there with that confidence that he's very hard to kill. And being hard to kill makes it so that, and having the confidence with it makes it so that you get to fight in different ways that other people don't get to fight. I don't know if you know what I mean. Let's
Well,
say
your durability opens options because you don't have to risk assess the way other people do.
doesn't just open options, open up a new style of fighting.
Well, that's what I mean by open up options. Where like, I mean, imagine if you
Oh, I know what you mean.
yeah,
Okay, I get it. Okay. And
yeah.
the explanation I was making, was there is this anime. I didn't watch it. I just saw like little previews of it. But then in there, I got a little something. There's the plot of it was there's this character. He's immortal. Like he can't die. You could cut off his arm, doesn't matter, whatever. And he incorporates not being able to die into his fighting style. So like he'll let you cut his arm off so he can stab you. Like he'll sacrifice pieces of his body just to get you.
Yeah.
So he out of being immortal, he created a fighting style with it. Right?
Yeah,
Because
I know what you're saying. You rely on durability a little bit. A lot of brawlers do this. Like there are people historically where like you know when the UFC would you do your walk up, and boxing has done this too. You walk up and they have like 3 traits under your name during the walkout when they're putting Vaseline on their face and everything. And it's like 3 traits might be like good striker, BJJ black belt, and whatever. And whenever they would say like iron chin, it just meant like this guy has an iron chin. It just also means he has bad defense. Um, but the thing is, it was an asset. Like some people's style was like, dude, I can get into these trading scenarios where I can really commit
Yeah,
to offense
yeah.
because I
I'll come
know that
out on top.
I can absorb. Yeah, I can absorb. I will get hit. And you know what? Like, I'm not as afraid of it taking me out the way the guy who's like, maybe a guy who's been knocked out 2 times is like a lot more hesitant. He's going to back off because he's just a little bit afraid of that.
I think
He's
that,
only gonna
dude,
fight the battles he has a major advantage in. I can fight a battle where I know I have a 40% chance of winning because if I lose this exchange, I think I'll still be okay.
yeah,
yeah, I'll lose 6 out of 10 exchanges because I know I just need to win one in such a way that
Yeah.
I'll win the war.
That happens with guys
Dude, you could
that
see
have
that
tremendous punching power too sometimes. It
for sure. Two comments on this. One, in that sense, exactly what you said. How we've seen these fighters before. DDP is a bit of a renaissance man in that regard. Like that was the old, back to way back to like when I first was getting curious in the UFC. That was like Chuck Liddell, dude.
I
Was
was
like
gonna say that the back in the day, the real barn door
or
burners.
Vanderlei Silva, another one. Like
Yeah,
those were like the who's who of like 20 years ago, like when MMA was just getting popular, but it was still pretty fucking esoteric. Like me
yeah.
being into UFC in high school, I was the only person I knew. There's no like my friends that got in the UFC is because I nerded out on YouTube and got them into it. But anyway, yeah. So those fighters of yesteryear, the Vanderlei Silvas and the Chuck Liddells, who were just like, I'm not backing down. I know I'm gonna get hit. I don't care if I'm gonna get hit because I'm gonna hit you harder and you'll go unconscious before I will. Those fighters, one, that era got ended by some more skilled fighters, or at least more tactical fighters coming in. And there's been guys who like flirted with this, but since then, I can't think of a good one. Not counting heavyweight. I don't even want to think about heavyweight for serious consideration because everyone has one touch kill power up there. But anyway, of the lower weight classes, I can't think of anyone in the last like 15 years who's a straight up brawler who ended up becoming champion.
Do you guys, by any chance, remember a guy named Randall Texas Cobb?
No, actually, I'm
All
not
right, so
picking.
he wasn't in the UFC. He's like 75 now. But way
I
back in the
started with
day,
that.
way back in the day. Well, he was an actor from way
Yeah.
back in the day. He was kind of famous. He was in like some action movies and stuff like that. And he actually started professional boxing. He competed at heavyweight. I think he won like a title, or or he fought the champion and like whatever. Um, he's literally famous. Yeah, there he is, the big man. So he's famous for having like the greatest chin in boxing of all time, potentially. Dude hit really hard, and I think what he did, I think he didn't win a title. I think he fought Larry Holmes and like got outclassed skill wise. But like even Larry Holmes like couldn't knock him out. Dude, I
Yeah,
think he also
Larry Holmes is fucking knocking everybody out.
yeah, and I think he also fought Ernie Shavers, and Ernie Shavers was like that dude used to delete people from existence type stuff. And this dude's like barely a boxer, bro. To an extent, he was really just kind of like an actor a little bit. He did like boxing, do some kickboxing and stuff, but dude was just basically a horse, like a real horse from back in the day. But my point is with this, there's an old story where and this is probably exaggerated or whatever, but there's probably some level of truth to it. Like back in the day, dude, in the 70s, people were just hanging out at bars. He gets into some argument at a bar apparently, and a guy went out in the parking lot, waited for the parking lot. Cops go into his car. The guy takes like a mini baseball bat, swings it, and hits him in the head, breaks the bat. It still didn't knock him out. I'm sure it like hurt or injured him. But the point is, the guy ends up knocking out this fucking dude who swung a bat at his head and flatlining him in the parking lot. The cops show up and all this stuff. Um, and so the sentiment is there are these fucking guys, bro, that are just walking amongst the population that really are like built a little different. And they're those guys that are kind of born with the physical traits of a true brawler. The guys who are like, I will win based off like my physical frame just being so robust. And those guys and that phenotype, so to speak, man, those guys tended to be popularized early in the MMA back in the day because those are the types of guys who would get into a sport like that. I think those guys lose to uber athletes, people who are really fast, really skilled, can pick up movement options and skills and strategize. So they don't end up being the top guys in sports once they get popular. But when the sports are not that popular and it's regular Joe Schmoes joining, these fucking guys are absolute, major threats. And so you see old MMA, and you'll see guys like that, like Tank Abbott,
Yeah.
Chuck Liddell, because like the reality is like as much as everyone like looks at Chuck Liddell as like whatever now, uh, that dude was not to be trifled with in like 2003. You see stories, bro, when these guys got into real street fights all the time. You know what I mean? And Chuck Liddell was like in bars, famously, like, six people, him and one of his other buddies. I think there was one, it might have been Glover Teixeira, bro, when they were friends. And I think they might have gotten into some fight, and Chuck Liddell just put six people on their ass. Like, even if you're a beast, bro, like putting six grown ass men like on their ass in the middle of a bar is fucking insane. And anyone that's willing to jump and pick fights with Chuck Liddell is probably not like a total softy. So they're just that type. They're those people walking around, and Dricus has a touch of that in him.
A touch?
Yeah, I was gonna say a touch.
Well,
He is the epitome, perhaps.
Yeah, perhaps so. But what I mean is Dricus at the same time. What I mean by a touch, Dricus doesn't have the vibe around him where uh, he's like, hey, you know what I do after work is I go smoke a cigar and I drink 40 beers and I smash some fucking dude's head at the local pub. You know what I mean? That's
No,
what those that's what those
instead.
guys were doing in
Nah,
1998.
nah.
Dricus
Instead,
is like not that personality, but I think
yeah,
physically he has it.
Dricus grabs dicks after fights. What
Yeah.
what are you
Yeah,
talking
bro.
about, bro?
He smooches his coach afterwards.
Dricus, if Dricus is dude, you're at a party, bro, and at this point, Dricus is fucking grabbing your ass,
Bro,
and
it's
you're just
over,
sitting
bro.
there, and you're just like, okay, like, you just,
Yeah, it's
like,
over, bro.
I can't
You gotta
fucking
pull
do
out a
it
gun.
anymore. Yeah,
You gotta pull out a gun, bro. It's over.
he's just gonna look at
Right.
that, and he's just gonna be like, it's not gonna help you, brother.
Yeah, fucking Man of Steel. Just
Yeah.
fucking bullet breaks off his fucking peck.
Damn, just a raping Terminator. That's crazy.
Dude, that is pure nightmare fuel. A gay rapist Terminator.
Bro. Like, he's not trying to kill you. That would be too easy.
No, he actually
He's
really
just
he's not mad at you at all. He really likes
yeah.
you.
Yeah, he just really likes you.
Thinks you're cute. Coming for that ass.
You're,
Oh man.
to be fair, you're probably, if Dricus likes you, you're probably safer than anyone else on the bar.
That is true.
Just not
Jesus
from
Christ.
him.
Bro,
Oh my
bro,
God.
imagine, bro. You in a bar, Dricus comes up, and he just walks by and just fucking taps your dick, bro. You're like, bro,
Yeah, dude.
bro, you gotta break a bottle on his head or something, bro.
Oh yeah,
And then
you're
run
toast,
immediately
bro.
because it's not gonna kill him.
Yeah, picture that, bro. You just fucking you think you're chilling with Dricus, some UFC meet the champ party. You end up halfway through the thing, he's just fucking slapping you on the ass and kissing you on the cheek,
Yeah,
sending you on your way, and you're like, fuck.
and he got his arms around you, and you're like, bro, can you let go now? No, we're having fun.
What do you
Yeah,
do?
you're-
Fight back and get fucking humiliated and hurt, or have
and
to deal
ass rape.
or have to deal with the fact that everyone's about to find out you can't do anything about this.
The key here is to never be in the same room as Dricus Duplessis.
Yeah, literally. Who's the last person to beat Dricus?
Oh, I think fucking
That's
pre UFC or something.
That's probably not in the UFC. Let's see. Yeah, undefeated in the UFC. So it would have to be before then. And those don't
Yeah, a
even
long
matter.
time ago.
Yeah.
Long time ago.
Yep. At least
Dude,
before
back
2020.
to he might. It's like as ugly as his fighting style is, but back to like the being able to strategize around being functionally immortal in the octagon. The way he like with that high guard of like, yeah, like I'm not even gonna bother to like see your punches. I'm just gonna like minimize damage to my head. But notice like so therefore he won't even know where he's getting hit from.
Doesn't
And
matter.
he won't even know where you are necessarily. And he just spams that overhand right or left. He just spams like a crazy wild overhand. Doesn't matter what stance he's in or if he's being backed up, whatever. He just throws it to make you back up. And what I mean, I guess I already knew this, but became the most salient in this fight with Izzy, where Dricus, all of Dricus's moments were off of some sort of sequence like that, where Izzy initiates, he's land jab, that hook to the body, and then Dricus just like again doesn't even know where Izzy is, might miss by 3 feet, but throws some big looping overhand. And then he looks up, is like, Izzy's backing up, and then he fucking chases you down like you owe him money.
Bro, he has that blasphemous past 2005 UFC fucking train punches. Train punches.
Like
Oh,
Chris
oh,
Weidman.
yeah, he's got it's like an uglier Vitor Belfort.
He runs at you like a train and just
Yeah.
jab cross, jab cross, jab cross, jab cross.
Oh,
Bruh,
I forgot to mention this, by the way. But I saw this on Wikipedia a while back. What they report on Wikipedia is Dricus has, I think it was like, because he did amateur kickboxing before MMA.
It's all KOs.
It's like let me look it up right now. 33 wins
33
out of
KOs.
33 fights, and it's 30 KOs, no losses.
Oh my god, dude.
Yeah,
Which
it's
is just that stat is more funny the more you think about it.
No, it is because
imagine
his grappling is such a huge, like his grappling is objectively good. for him, like straight up,
Yeah.
like not that sexy, but it's like more. You could argue
honestly,
his
I
grappling
don't
is like
even
more.
think. I
His
think
grappling is
it's
like more effective than anyone in the UFC right now. Like even like Islam, for example, is a better grappler, no doubt about it. But he's so patient. Like he'll end the round on Volk's back because he's patient. He's trying to find his kill. Dricus, to his credit, he said this after the Izzy fight, was like, I don't throw a punch to set up the next punch. I'm only throwing a punch to hurt you or put you out. And I don't shoot a takedown just to hold you down and win the round. I'm shooting a takedown to get to my finish. Everything I do is to try and hurt you or put you out. That's it. And I mean, when you cast that perception onto him, you could see, yeah, there's not a single punch he throws that isn't like, I'm trying to take your head off. There's no feints. There's no jab to set up the cross or anything like that. It's like every one of these strikes is to kill you. And it's,
choo.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, get off the tracks. The fucking train's coming.
Bro, that track running thing. It's just funny, like guys, like they showed us clips of Anderson Silva stopping people that are doing that, but
Yeah,
it's such a
the
blast from
famous
the
Forrest Griffin.
yeah, it's such a blast from the past thing to where like you don't even have a defense against it in the modern UFC because nobody does that anymore because it's stupid. So you
Yeah,
don't even
well, that's
practice
the thing.
defending it.
That's the thing. It's an anti-technique.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's an anti-technique. It
Yeah,
is
it's so
weird.
bad it's good. And it only works if you're Dricus and
That's what I mean with
Yeah.
Dricus. Dricus, the things he does that are goofy are not quite as goofy as they appear when you really think about it. There are reasons why we're noticing this weird pattern with him, and there will come a day where it's like
I
Dricus
will
gets,
say,
someone beats the shit out of Dricus, and everyone's like, "Oh, no surprise there," or whatever. But for
Yeah.
what we've seen so far, um, I don't think actually what's happened doesn't make sense. I actually think it all makes it obviously happens, so you have to make sense of it. I think our analysis of it has made sense of it. Um, and I think a lot of people counted Dricus out more than we did as well. So I feel like we're a little bit
No,
more
we
on
didn't count
track.
him out at all.
No, I'm saying other people counted Dricus out more than we did.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So that makes me feel a little more confident that we're fairly on the nose with understanding what's going on with him. And I'm kind of comfortable with my takeaways from the fight. I think Dricus also benefits from people thinking that everything about him is stupid and untamed, because that just means you're going to potentially be more likely to underestimate certain things about what he does, because you'll just think, oh yeah, he's not going to lay a finger on me. Oh, I'm going to easily be able to do this. Oh, I have this advantage over him. But then once it's happening, you're just like, oh shit, what the hell? He just fucking kicked me in the head. I don't know how I got myself in this fucking position, but I am here.
I do think people are gonna, because it's Izzy and because Izzy's been like one of the most popular fighters in recent MMA history. I think the the whole division and fans are officially on notice. Like you can't just call it a fluke anymore.
Yeah, and
We already,
also every
but I'm
fight.
saying everyone else is going to be like, well, dude, he killed one of the fan favorites. Now put him out after getting beat up. Like it's the ultimate testament of who Dricus is and how he wins fights.
Yeah, even if you think he's getting owned, it's like this can happen at any
It
time.
doesn't. It's straight. Yeah, and again, dude, he was doing that against lesser fighters too. Like
Yeah, I was gonna say things change fast in MMA. Every single fight changes things because people have more information on you. You're also in a new situation. Every single fight camp and every single fight, usually, unless it was a really easy one, usually leaves you with some sort of injury.
Yeah, and the whole in Juggernaut Dricus thing. Yeah, he's 30, dude, and the closest, not stylistically, like with their literal, techniques, but in terms of like horse and using their horseness to their advantage and winning fights from it. The next closest thing was Jiri. And what did it take to derail the Jiri train? In the antithesis of that, someone with perhaps the most notable KO power ever in
This
MMA.
horse tranquilizer. He has the. You need somebody
Yeah,
with
so
horse
like
tranquilizer.
you need such immense offensive potency that yeah, you can tranquilize the horse is the best way to put it. And that's what, like, Izzy, as like technical, and he's knocked people out. Not like Pereira knocks people out, but he's knocked people out. TKOs really. But that wasn't enough. He didn't have the potency to put the fucking raging bull down, and eventually the bull got him.
Who do you guys think in the division right now is going to beat Dricus? Because someone's going to eventually beat him.
So one, I do think Sean can beat him. It was razor close last time.
Yeah.
So who can? Sean can. Who do I think is the most interesting on paper that I would love to see personally? Hamzat.
Oh yeah, dude. Hamzat fights so infrequently. I keep forgetting he exists.
Bro, Hamza's probably the only guy that can do it.
You know what's funny? I said this
That's
to
such
you
a
guys.
fascinating test for both fighters, dude, because like Hamzat's whole thing
Yeah.
is like, I'm gonna kill you inside one round, and then he goes from like all Super Saiyan to like, yeah, he's still a good fighter, but he's not Super Saiyan mode anymore. Where Dricus is, from that perspective, kind of the opposite, where like you keep beating him up, and somehow beating up Dricus favors him because you're getting tired and he's
Yeah,
not.
it hurts your hands.
Yeah, it hurts your hands, and you get slower and more tired, and he doesn't.
Oh, dude, I'm sorry. I'm just like literally laughing. I forgot. I literally forgot Hamzat existed for a little bit.
I
Dude,
mean, technically he doesn't exist because he's not fucking.
bro, last time he fought was the Usman fight when we started the fucking podcast.
Oh my god.
It's been almost a year. And before that,
Yeah,
before that it was over a year when he fought Kevin Holland.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Hamzat's a cursed fighter. It's a fucking shame, dude.
You know what I
He
mean?
only
And then, dude, it's been a year and a half now since the Gilbert Burns fight.
Yep.
When
I
you
mean,
really
well,
look through Hamzat's,
yeah,
UFC tenure,
fought like
he's had some impressive "I fucked you up" wins, but he didn't. He was impressive against Kamaru, but he didn't run through Kamaru like he was with people on the way up. He struggled with Gilbert Burns. I think Dricus Kamzat would be a fucking killer fight, and I would like to see it happen now while they're both still fresh. Because I think Dricus is I think with Dricus's style and the way these fights are going, like despite him winning, I don't see him necessarily having the craziest longevity. So I would like to see his best matchups now while he's fresh. I honestly do think Strickland might take him out.
You know who I might be able to do something? He hasn't fought Vittori yet, right? Vittori's a
No.
big
no, dude, they're like kind of the same fighter.
Listen. Exactly.
Go on.
Vittori's a big bro, the guy's just a bumbling idiot, but he's a horse. horse without the grappling skill that the Dricus has. But if he could just make the fight ugly, that's a fucking 5-round who done it, bro.
Dude, Vittori's one of those guys who also, stylistically they're different, but like
That's like
I remember
UFC
Izzy
judges.
fought him twice, dude, and Izzy I think landed like big head kicks, and that motherfucker wouldn't go down. Like straight
Oh
up, I
yeah,
don't think he got knocked down.
yeah, no. I think Izzy got bored of hitting him. Izzy, this is what happened.
All right, dude, I'm getting tired of kicking you in the head. I'm just gonna milk the
Yeah.
decision.
So yeah, I think that one goes to the judges, and who knows who wins because
Well,
UFC judges are fucking ass.
here's the thing though. Assuming the fight goes through and happens, Khamzat's fighting Whitaker a year later in October. And I'm gonna be sad if Whitaker loses because I'm always gonna be sad if Whitaker loses, probably. But
we're gonna be happy because
we'll be happy because Khamzat will totally get a title shot after that. And if he doesn't get a title shot, I'll rip my fucking hair out.
I think he should. Because if
But
he beats Whitaker's 3, if he beats Whitaker, the only other person on top of it is Adesanya. He should be able to get a title shot, and Adesanya already fought.
and Adesanya already fought him, and I don't think Adesanya is really seems like he's itching for the rematch right now. I think he just wants to chill, man.
Yeah, I think he should, man. I think he should do rehab and shit. And,
Yeah, for sure. And see where he's at after he gets through like that type of stuff, doing well instead of like just kind of taking some time. And who knows, you need a mental rest sometimes too, bro. I know he mentioned that last year after the Strickland fight, he needed a mental rest. He was ridiculous. I mean, dude, his fucking UFC reign was
most
legendary, bro. He was so active. Like, remember back in the day how infrequently GSP and Anderson fought? It was every like 9 months.
Yeah.
If you were lucky and stuff. And like Izzy was fighting every like 2 to
No,
3 months,
I think
bro.
he was fighting. I think he was fighting like 4 times a year
It was
for like
it was insane.
2+ years.
Yeah, it's totally nuts. So I get how he's like, not only have I taken a few licks, but pause. But
Licks of what?
but
Of
he's like, I'm
Dricus.
just fucking tired, bro. Yeah, of
Yeah.
Dricus.
Yeah, I feel that. But yeah, most active champion in UFC history.
Yeah.
That's no small feat, man. And I can see how those injuries could build up.
Especially in that division.
Yeah.
But Whitaker's back. He's on a fucking tear. I mean, dude, I would not be upset to see Whitaker be the champ and all that. It's one of those things where I'm like, I just kind of, unfortunately, Whitaker might have to get potentially sacrificed to see Khamzat get the fights that we deserve and want him to see. Simultaneously, we might find out Khamzat maybe doesn't deserve it and Whitaker fucking KOs him. Who knows?
Honestly, bro, I don't know when it comes to Khamzat right now, bro. I don't know. It's just so much time off dealing with a bunch of shit. I don't even. But he's one of those really mentally tough guys. Maybe nothing happens, man. Maybe he just goes out there, bum rushes Whitaker, and just fucking Kimuras him.
Yeah.
Which is a huge possibility when you're fighting Hamza. That is, bro. Your chances of getting submitted in that first round are so high. It's
That's
insane.
why I would love to see him and Dricus because we've only seen like Dricus does. He's very offensively potent, but it's not.
Never seen him on defense. Yeah.
Yeah, and even then, it's not the focal point of his game. It's like, again, the most textbook Dricus sequence is receive damage, throw a looping wild strike just to get you on your heels, chase you, throw some wild strikes. Maybe you land some, maybe you don't, and then finish with a takedown.
Face plant into your leg and then grab it.
I'm
Takedown.
glad you brought that up. I forgot about that. Dude, I was screaming at that sequence because the camera height, you can't see their feet. You just see Dricus like dip and Izzy cracks him with an uppercut, and then you just see Dricus go out of frame and fall down for a split second.
On his face.
And then the next frame, he's coming up on a takedown. He's on Izzy's leg. I was like,
Well,
what?
I think he was going down. I think he was falling. He like tripped or whatever the hell happened. But he did. This is the thing I alluded to before. You can, dude. Athletes come in all different shapes and sizes, and athletes have these different like they're different archetypes and types of athletes that are all great athletes in their own way. Izzy's an incredible athlete with the things that he has. He's not the same type of incredible athlete the way like Yoel Romero is. And I'm not saying that Yoel Romero is a better athlete. It is a different type of athlete.
Yeah.
There are certain traits that blend together that make you like an efficient person at these physical tasks. Dricus, I think, has this one of these traits where he has this knack for turning kind of nonsensical situations a little bit into decisions that just get the job done. So it's goofy, but it's still effective. And he's for whatever reason, whether he's falling or what's going on there, he just turned it into a low single. And I don't know why, and I know you guys aren't saying this, but like a lot of people on the internet were talking about it like, how did Dricus fall and then he fell on Izzy's leg and Izzy's fell? It's like, dude, he shoots a low single. How do people not know what a low single is? Like, have you ever had a low single drive into your shin? You just have to go down, or your fucking shin breaks in half. So I'm like, I think he just fell and was like, I have to attack. And what's right in front of him? A foot and a shin. And he drives into it, and it's his.
You know,
And the way Izzy goes down, I can tell it's a low single that causes Izzy to fall.
yeah, of course.
Because the way Izzy goes down, I'm like, that's how people go down when
Yeah,
people low single their
yeah,
leg.
you try to like turn away from the pressure, and then that's like a fucking dog.
You're
who
just
still has
you're
your
just
foot.
getting folded, like literally at the shin. It's actually like
Yeah,
scary, bro. Sometimes when people drive into that, you can fucking blow someone's knee out.
oh yeah.
But the thing is, Dricus did face plant in the fight multiple times, but not in that moment. In that moment, he actually just kind of falls into a low single. It was actually it's goofy, but almost slow, but almost smooth in a way. But there's a bunch of other moments when he shoots, and when
Oh.
the takedown was successfully defended, he does face plant. I think the most damage to Dricus's
Well,
face
dude, that's
came from missing takedowns.
like the end sequence.
It's
Kind
so
like
funny.
I'll say it starts with Izzy pieces Dricus up in the middle of the octagon, and Dricus just does a reactionary shot, like amongst mere mortals. That's usually the end of the fight. Someone shooting the desperation shot, like, "Oh, I'm taking shots. I better shoot a takedown quick." Izzy sprawls it, like he, read it from 1,000 miles away, and like sprawls Dricus's face into the canvas, and Izzy makes him stand up. Like he sprawls, and then Dricus like just kind of rolls backwards, and his hitman would say, he opened his pussy for a second, and Izzy stands above him and is like, "No, stand up, stand up." Like you could tell Izzy was thinking, I'm gonna end this fight." Like, he's like, "Oh, I'm piecing him up. He's shooting shitty shots. He's hoping I just lay on him so he can rest on the ground." Like, "No, you're not resting. Get up. Let's fight." So he makes him stand up, and what does Dricus do? He throws another crazy overhand and backs Izzy up, and then somewhere in that flurry, he clips him, chases him again along the fence. That's when he lands like 3 punches as Izzy's running away, drags him down, finishes him. All from shooting a bad shot, and Izzy
I
making the
agree
choice
with
to
I agree
stand
with
up.
everything you guys are saying, and hybrid specifically, where you said, "Hey, there might be something here that we're not seeing," but we have to be careful not to overanalyze what we're seeing.
Yeah, I know what you mean by that sentiment. I've had that in mind as well. I'm trying to not. Here's what can happen. Sometimes you come up with a point that has some truth in it, and maybe the point is either interesting. It's sometimes people like being contrarian, and then they get interested in taking a certain point and pushing it further simply because they want to continue to be more and more contrarian. And then also sometimes having a point can just be entertaining. Like some point that you made is like funny, it becomes almost a meme. And then you get enraptured by the meme of the point that you take it too far. I've been thinking about that while I say that stuff because the whole Dricus is goofy, but he's a horse, and Dricus is goofy, but there's something to it. I've also been trying to not take it too far. So it's more like everything I'm saying with Dricus is also with, some hesitation because I don't believe Dricus is going to dominate this division for years. And like I said, I don't believe Dricus's style, despite some of its merits that were a little bit undervalued and underestimated going in. I still don't believe that they're necessarily going to carry him towards um, some unstoppable tenure for years to come. I think I'm not going to be surprised if, to be honest, despite all of this, I still might pick against him in like every fight.
But it's hard not to sometimes because it's the way my brain works.
Well, picking
Like,
Dricus goes against like specifically Hitman, your thing, and I agree with it. But I know you stated explicitly is like you're always gonna go with the better martial artist. Dricus is kind of always the worst martial artist in every fight we've analyzed of his.
yes,
Yeah.
and that's why we've incorporated the horse factor into our calculations. So we've evolved. Uh, but yeah, it's very hard to give him like when we're giving like 52%, 53. It's hard to give him that 3 that we're giving other people because it's like, bro, I don't know if you reach a situation you don't understand. I'm not sure you'll know what to do. But he's one of those guys who are like, hey, bro, like he's so strong. So like, hey, bro, like he'll grab your toe and get a takedown from there. Like he'll just go from there. Like there's no, he's like that left curve meme
Yeah.
Yeah,
where the guy's like,
yeah, you're
uh,
so
um,
left curve that you're right curve.
yeah, exactly right. Where there'd be this super genius guy on the right curve on the right side, and he'll be like, "Oh yes, you have to feint this way, feint that way, and then we have to change and go into plan B and then plan C, and then you have fucking DDP on the other side, and his thing is like go. That's it, go.
Yeah, kill.
Yeah." And then it's like, hey, bro, like I fall down into your leg and just fucking, and I'll take you down from there, bro. Fuck you, dude. We don't have to reset or anything. Some guys will fall down there and then try to reset, and he's like, bro, reset, dude. I'll just grab your toe here,
Yeah,
and then we can
bottom
figure it out
line
from
is
there.
he's afforded mistakes that other people literally lose the fight over.
Yeah.
Like, dude, shooting a bad shot and getting your face sprawled into the canvas, that alone could be a fight-ending sequence.
Yeah,
And
that's
then that's the other thing too. It's what we were saying earlier where he has options because he's physically different.
Hybrid, you asked, who of like current middleweights can beat him, but I think an equally interesting question is like, at what point does his durability factor disappear? As we mentioned earlier in this podcast, like Tony Ferguson against Gaethje. Like, what will it take, and how much? I mean, dude, he took a fuck ton of damage from Sean and Izzy these last 2 fights.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Every single fight. Um, things change fast in MMA, and every single fight you go in like it's different, bro. You take a lot of damage. You get beat up by these fucking guys, even if you win. Um, I mean, dude, you might have 18 months max before you go through fights like this, and you fall off a little bit, and you need to take some time off. Like Hitman was saying earlier, you got to rehab some stuff and really heal up. Um, no one can just be going through wars 2 to 3 times a year and be on top of their game. You can't. So
Which
Dricus is better.
I
Dricus is
I
better
think it,
find a way to evolve and start taking a little bit less damage soon, or the problem with being a champ is you can't just stall.
Yeah, you can't. You can't just say you're not gonna fight.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, hey, if Dricus never wins another fight, as you said, like he's it's still been impressive for him to like.
Oh, of course.
I
He's a beast. He's
He
made his
became champ and he defended the belt. I could totally see him defending it another time or two. Which again, hey, if he theoretically goes down as having won, let's say, 4 title fights, that's pretty legendary shit.
well. His next opponent's Strickland. I might still favor Strickland in that fight, but like we've seen that he's capable of beating Strickland. Um, and then after that, the person fighting is either probably going to be Kamzat or Whitaker, and we've already seen him knock out Whitaker. So it's like, not
Bro,
saying that wouldn't happen again, but that would happen again. But it's just one of those things where it's like he could feasibly, like, who knows? It would just be. I'm just saying it would be funny. I'd be laughing on this podcast if we do this again in 1 year, and we're like, here he is, bro, Dricus,
Can't be
just
killed.
just tearing people the fuck up. He's been like defending the belt multiple times. Like we're like, how is Dricus the middleweight goat right now?
oh,
Yeah, right.
listen. After Izzy couldn't do the job, I have no faith in a lot of these other people.
I know. That's
Hamza
the
is
thing.
somewhere in Chechnya with a warlord. Uh, dude, Whitaker gets tossed like a fucking toddler. Pause. Wait, that sounds insane.
And dude, the funny thing is to be honest, man, you know who I really see most likely to win is Strickland.
Just marketing jabs.
Yeah, I think. But the thing is, because Strickland and Izzy were beating him in a similar-ish way. But the thing is, yeah, well, you know what?
It's just
Dricus'
the known.
grappling just keeps coming to save the day.
Yeah, precisely right. Like I said, he's a Vittori with grappling skills.
Yeah.
To where like you can punch Vittori in the face all you want, it doesn't matter. But he can't grapple like DDP can. So
Yeah.
and then there's no one on this list that I have no faith in any of these people. Cannoneer, I don't know what's happening with him. They're like you remember what they were saying? He's the dark horse of the division. Remember
Yeah.
people were saying that? I don't know. You know why they were saying that? I think Izzy said it once, and then Joe Rogan repeated it, and then everybody else repeated it. He's the dark horse of the division. The dark horse. And I'm like, bro, what?
Funny.
How is the
That's one of
champion
Izzy's.
saying he's the dark horse?
Um, Other than the Romero fight,
Anyway,
Izzy versus Cannonier was probably his most boring fight.
because the Cannoneer was afraid.
Yeah, well, they look pretty similar. Where like Cannonier and Romero both didn't want to engage, so they kind of just stood there. So Izzy would like leg kick them and be like, "You're not going to do anything." Okay, well then I'll just leg kick you again.
Yeah, I think those tactics are you pick and trying to mitigate damage or not get knocked out or whatever, you put yourself in the worst position possible. Because you put yourself in a position to where you're not hitting Izzy,
Well, you make it impossible to
but
win.
he's not hitting you either. He's not doing a lot of damage to you either. But then he's just getting points. You have the worst of all worlds.
Do you remember the Romero fight, dude? He sat down and perfectly timed one overhand, and he actually hit Izzy on the fucking button. But that was literally it. But that was clearly his strategy.
Bro,
Yet it
he
didn't
did
work.
get one in, bro.
But yeah, he landed
Bro,
one fucking.
he did a
That's one
little
of the hardest.
peekaboo. It's a little peekaboo shit. He fucking Izzy,
Yeah.
bro. Yo, Izzy was like, hell nah, bro. I'm never doing this again. And Izzy just stayed on the outside and leg kicked him the whole time.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, it's because like say like Izzy won like 3 exchanges of like came in like landed a 2-3-piece combos or whatever, and then it's like the third time he does that, it's like Romero was like he clearly was like, okay, I'm gonna let him come in. I'm just gonna try and time a overhand nuke, and that might have been the hardest Izzy's been hit with one individual strike ever in the
Yeah,
UFC.
probably. Bro, Izzy didn't want no part of that after that shit, bro.
Bro, who the fuck would? Dude, Romero. Oh my god. All roads lead back to Romero. But dude, Romero could have been the better version of DDP, and he was just
I think
he's the midwit meme of he was in the middle overthinking where he wasn't smart enough to be the super cerebral fighter, but he wasn't fucking dumb enough to just say, dude, I'm a horse, fuck it.
yeah, exactly. He was in the middle, like, oh, maybe we have this unique strategy where, like, we're gonna trick him, and then we're gonna stand still, and then try to knock him out.
If I don't move, he can't see me.
Yeah, and then when I hit him, if he doesn't get knocked out, then I don't know what to do next. That was the only plan I had.
I shot my shot. It didn't work. Shit. I guess I gotta stand here for another 25 minutes.
Yeah, bro, what was up with that guy?
One of the I know you've pointed out many times on this podcast, but like the disparity of like that pre-fight talk, that shit sent chills down my fucking spine, dude. I was like, oh my god.
Oh, he was like, go. You want it? Go. Go.
Yeah, he takes
I'm like, bro, that weekend, bro. I'm like, fuck it, bro. It's over for. I was an Izzy fan, bro. I'm like, it's over for Izzy, bro.
Oh, dude, I thought Romero was gonna kill him.
Bro, he was like, go. Hold up, bro. We gotta pull this up, bro.
I mean, this is an all-time.
Oh my god.
It's all time for all the worst reasons now because he ended up just standing still.
They even named it. If you believe everything.
Yeah, look at how.
Can you guys hear it?
Yeah.
Okay, here it is. Here it is. Diddy box. I said, bro, he's gonna win, bro. It's over.
Yeah, he looks like a man possessed.
Go.
He's whispering. Yeah, dude, I watched that interview. I was like, oh fuck, dude.
Bro. Hold on. And then not 2 days later. They're showing the highlights, so they're not showing like the full.
Yeah, him standing like a
They're
fucking
not showing.
cat.
They have to show the full fight. Bruh, that shit. Okay, I think here it is here. Bro. There it is.
Yeah. He fucking sat down on it, dude.
Ah.
Yoel, my all-time fave. I think I
Bro,
have an entire Twitter thread that I still add to here and there when I find great Yoel clips.
Oh, you do? Yeah, I've contributed to it.
Yeah, you have. I forgot about that.
One could argue Yoel Romero is what unified this podcast and made it become a reality.
Dude, to be honest, yeah. The man's just doing great things all around.
bro, you know, I just imagine Yoel, bro, where they're like, hold on, let me mute this. They're like, hey, let's come up with a game plan for Izzy. We know he likes to feint, so we're gonna do this. We're gonna try to kick him this way. We're gonna move here, try to cut him off, etc. And then he's like, no, I don't think so. We're gonna stand, and then I will trick him. I will trick him.
Yeah.
I'm gonna trick him. He's gonna come in thinking he can hit me, and then boom,
I hit him.
I hit him. And then he's like, and then he's just determined from there. Like, that's what he was gonna do.
What are you gonna do after that, Romero? I don't know.
I don't know.
Dude,
I just it's the shirt. It's my shirt.
yeah, probably fucking shit his pants again in the UFC cage. People
Dude
forget
really
about
is a
that,
legend.
dude.
Dude,
And
whoever that was against, I remember he like massacred them too.
oh yeah, no, he fucking completely annihilated them. I was back in the day, dude. One of my favorite guys was Lyoto Machida. I loved Machida, and Machida was, strategically piecing him up, outscoring, doing his thing, and then he just like people forget about Yoel, dude. He was the master of the third round blitz. He'd be losing, and you're like, oh, this skilled guy is really beating up this freakishly strong dude, Yoel. Yoel's just been saving his energy for 15 minutes. And then he's like, oh, I have all the energy for one blitz, and it will totally be enough to kill you. And it always was. And he's just like, yep, Lyoto Machida, goodbye. And my heart's broken. He's like losing to. Dude, you guys remember when he beat Chris Weidman?
Oh, dude, that
That was
was
like the Madison Square Garden
he
debut. It was like new Chris Weidman's hometown. It's like such a big deal. MMA is finally legal in New York. Chris Weidman's like kind of winning the fight a little bit, I think, or like he's doing all right. And then Yoel goes, "Okay, it's time to kill you," and then just flying knees him. And Chris Weidman is now a dead body on the ground. And Yoel just starts goose stepping like a fucking Cuban Nazi around the cage, and everyone in New York is just
Oh yeah,
terrified.
No, bruh.
dude. He ended his dude. Talk about like fights that like changed a fighter for the rest of their career. That moment, Weidman was never the same.
No, you can't be the same, dude. Weidman's best friends with Gian Vellante, and they're both the dumbest people of all time. And Weidman became dumber than Vellante that day.
Yeah, Weidman's pretty fucking
Like,
retarded.
dude, there's no way your brain isn't scrambled after that.
Where's the goose step? Oh,
Do
there
you
he
see what
is.
I'm, do you see what I'm talking about, man?
Yeah,
He
he's
starts
fucking
like
salute.
colluding, goose stepping around the cage, and everyone's like, "Oh fuck, this guy! God damn it!"
Oh man.
Dude, Weidman's already dead and he's just teeing off on him. Ugh. You hate to see it.
Is that a pod?
That's a pod, man. Shout out to Yoel, the soldier of God.
Our king.
Bro, motherfuckers thought the Soviets were back for a second.
Yeah, literally.
Like, hold up, bro. We
Hey,
gotta
he
fight these
is-
fuckers again.
He is the Cuban Missile Crisis.
Oh man. What's up? Yep, Cuban Missile Crisis, bro.
Oh, dude, why didn't they nickname him that?
Bro, that would have been the perfect name. But
That
you all
would have
wouldn't
been
like it.
yeah,
He would
that's
have been
so
like,
true.
no,
He would have hated it.
I know. I don't like it.
He's like, "No, my name is No More Gay Baby Jesus."
No, no for gay Jesus.
Dude, you know who he sounds the most like of all fighters is Anderson Silva. They both have the weird little gay voice.
Dude, they both even
Yes.
look similar. Like, if you told me they were brothers, I'd believe it completely.
Yeah, dude, exactly.
Like
Like, if I just heard-
Anderson is like the closeted gay brother, and like Yoel is like the brother's like, no.
No
Bro,
for gay.
Yoel's the
That's
brother.
bad.
He's too stupid to know that he's gay, but he hates gays.
Yeah. Dude, I don't know, bro. I love Yoel. He's never done a normal thing in his entire life.
And that's why he inspired this podcast.
Yeah, literally. Shout
I
out.
think he there was this thing in the Bible where, and we could end on this, I guess. I don't quite remember the story quite well. Where Jesus was like, you have to make it so that your left hand doesn't know what your right hand is gonna do. And I think that's Joel Romero.
He took that very literally.
Just and how spontaneous he is. It's like I
Dricus
don't think he
too.
knows what he's gonna do. Yeah. I don't think he knows what he's gonna do. But somehow it works.
We've just found they're both just Christians, maybe, bro.
Probably, bro. The words of Jesus.
Yeah, well, you know
Jesus.
what? That makes a little bit of sense because a lot of the top UFC fighters, they're just like, bro, I've just been reading the Bible, and all the Bible's telling them is just to wild out.
Yeah, bro. Just told him wild out, bro.
Yeah, just try and wild out.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. But yeah, that's a pod, guys. Thank you for listening.